It's messy, it's imperfect, I'm definitely going to get into my issues, but damn it all if they didn't make a somewhat satisfying finale to give some redemption to another lackluster season. I'm Gayfesh, and today we'll be talking Star Trek Picard Season 2, Episode 10, Farewell. But before we get started, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And you can bet your bottom dollar there'll be spoilers for this one. The actual resolution to the main conflict takes place within the first 20 minutes, which makes sense. You want to make sure you leave time to cap things off for all the character arcs. Talon's plan is to disguise herself as Renee and let Soong kill her instead, but Picard tries to stop her briefly before she's like, dude, this is my life's whole meaning. Also, you gotta stop letting your guilt over letting your mom die control everything, so maybe when you go back to the future, you can date the person who looks exactly like me, but doesn't have a fake American accent. So he relents, and she is able to trick Soong into killing her instead, but not before she finally gets to meet Renee face to face after a lifetime of distant protection. Meanwhile, everyone else is at Soong's compound where he's launched some drones as a backup plan to intercept and blow up the rocket. They hack into the control system and crash the drones into each other. Yay! Congrats everyone! You all got to have a storyline too. Soong returns to his house after they leave and starts trashing everything once he realizes he's failed. And then Corey hacks into his system and deletes all his files about her and all the other failed clones, which causes Soong to dust off an old envelope labeled Project Con. Guess we're finally acknowledging in canon that Singh and Soong are just a vowel apart. Corey is then approached by Will Wheaton, who is super giddy to be in front of the camera not interviewing someone. Obviously it's Wesley Crusher doing his job as a traveler, in which he reveals that the travelers are the ones in charge of the supervisors like Talon and Gary Seven. He's there to recruit Corey. Jean-Luc returns to the chateau and puts the skeleton key back in the wall where he'll find it again as a kid. In so doing, he has accepted finally his mother's death, and Q shows up to explain, that was the whole point of all of this. Dudes will literally captain a starship and save the galaxy rather than go to therapy, so Q decided his dying moments would be spent helping out his favorite human. Q's final act before he dies is to send everyone back to the 25th century, but Rios decides to stay behind with the doctor and her kid, and so with the additional energy of not having to send Rios, Q is able to bring Elnor back to life as well. They're all returned to the moment before the Stargazer exploded in Episode 1, and Picard realizes that the Queen is Jurati and her actions are benevolent, so he cancels the self-destruct and orders the fleet to cooperate with the Borg. Queen Agnes reveals that a new transwarp conduit is opening, but the energy released could destroy the sector, so she needs to harmonize the fleet's shields in order to stop the destructive energies. She then says that they don't know who created this conduit and petition for Provisional Federation membership so they can keep watch over it. I presume this is a setup for the third season, which makes it a little weird to hear that Alison Pill has confirmed she's not in Season 3. The remaining crew go out for drinks at Guinan's, Seven and Rafi are finally together, Elnor tries his first alcohol and hates it, and then Picard decides to finally open himself up to feel something for Laris, and that's where we end it. I thought this episode did about as good a job as it could wrapping things up considering the mess of the season, but here's my main gripe. If you didn't know what to do with any of these characters, and your intention was to write them out, then why did you even bring them back for the second season? Were they signed on before you'd written the script? Rios' love story is irresponsible for a Starfleet officer to even engage with. I do not care about this doctor and her kid. Nobody's meaningfully challenging him on it, and he just gets to stay behind. Elnor's death in return is a complete footnote, and he's confirmed he's not even coming back for Season 3, which means you should have A, given him a better and more meaningful death, and B, made it permanent. And you literally created a new irrelevant character for Isa Briones to play just so you could give her enough contractual screen time to write her out of the show too. I was happy to see the return of Wesley Crusher, but it really diminishes his cameo when he's talking to a character that zero people care about. If he's part of the group that set Talon up here in the first place, why not have him bring everyone back to the future? Let Picard be proud of his space son. The only character who gets a meaningful and redeeming send-off is Agnes, who actually won me over with her Borg Queen arc. As far as I can tell, the only characters returning for Season 3 are Picard, Rafi, and Seven. I understand wanting to make room for the whole TNG cast, but if you didn't want to be stuck with the other characters, you could have always just not brought them back to begin with. Also, since they wanted Will Wheaton's appearance this season to be a surprise, it's unclear if he's gonna be back for the third season. I'm inclined to say no because he made a blog post about it where he wrote a hypothetical scene of his return. Something tells me he'd have stayed radio silent if that were the case. Anyway, how'd you like it? What are your thoughts? Leave a comment below.
I'm holding out hope for surprise appearances from Diana Muldaur and Denise Crosby in Season 3. Just so long as she's not playing Sela.
Be sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and share the video with your friends. Subscribe to my Patreon to get shouted out in future videos. Check out my Bandcamp for banging tunes, including all the tracks you heard in this video. Follow me on Twitter at GayestFesh, and don't forget to check out my podcast, The Rest of Both Worlds, where I go through Star Trek The Next Generation with a friend who's never seen it. Thank you to all my patrons, with a special shout out to Piftle Cakes and Renee Vorbeck. Your support is greatly appreciated. See you all in the next video.